Hey Liz, we need to discuss our incident management plan for our next whitewater trip. You got a minute?
Sure, Sam. What's on your mind?
I've been reviewing some guidelines, and it's crucial that we're clear about our roles in case of a mishap. Have you thought about what roles we should assign?
Definitely. It's important that everyone knows what to do. Let's start with the leader. The leader should try to take a hands-off approach, right?
Exactly. The leader needs to step back and see the whole picture. They should avoid getting physically involved unless absolutely necessary. That way, they can ensure there's a backup downstream or someone has been sent to call an ambulance.
Right. But with small teams of boaters, the leader might have to get involved in the action. In that case, the leader should take on the task that requires the least involvement.
Good point. Now, we also need to identify specialists. These are the people with specific skills like first aid, climbing and rope skills, or strong swimming abilities. They'll be crucial for certain tasks.
Agreed. We should know who in our team has those skills ahead of time. What about the gopher role? It seems like an essential role to support the rescuers.
Yes, the gopher ensures that rescuers have all the equipment they need. They also maintain an overview to anticipate needs and address any shortfalls before they happen. In complex rescues, having an equipment dump where spare gear is kept makes sense.
That's a smart idea. And then we have the rescuers, which should be everyone else. Even if some team members are less experienced, they can still help by pulling ropes or keeping an eye out for floating hazards or other paddlers.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps. Now, let's go through the sequence of events in a rescue. First, we assess the situation.
Then we stabilize the situation to buy some time and reassess it. Once we have a clear picture, we decide on a plan of action.
Right, and then we communicate that plan to the team, allocate tasks, and make sure everyone knows what their task involves.
After that, we execute the plan and finally review the incident to learn from it and improve our future performance.
Exactly. The plan of action typically involves getting the victim safely to shore first. If they're okay, we can continue the trip. If not, we administer first aid, evacuate the injured, recover equipment, and then evacuate team members and equipment.
And if we have plenty of rescuers, the leader should try to have multiple phases happening simultaneously. That way, we can handle the situation more efficiently.
You got it, Liz. We need to make sure everyone on our team understands these roles and the sequence of events. It'll make a huge difference in managing any incidents that come up.
Agreed. Let's have a briefing with everyone before our next trip to go over these points. It'll ensure we're all on the same page.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for discussing this with me, Liz.
Anytime, Sam. Safety first.
Hey Liz, let's imagine a member of a two-raft team gets catapulted out of their raft and ends up stranded on a rock with a leg injury. The leader assesses the situation and delegates tasks to the people available.
What does the leader do first?
He tasks a specialist and the other raft guide to set up a tension diagonal to access the boulder. Another experienced rafter is promoted to raft guide to ferry rescuers back and forth.
And the gopher?
He establishes a central equipment dump. Another specialist is sent to the nearest road to wait for an ambulance.
What about the upstream lookout?
He warns other paddlers about the rapid being obstructed. The remaining rescuers are positioned downstream to throw lines if needed.
What happens next?
Once the tension diagonal is set up, a trained first aider is sent down with another rescuer to treat the victim and evacuate them from the rock. The upstream lookout and another rescuer start building a stretcher.
And after the victim is on the bank?
The team dismantles the tension diagonal, ferries everyone to one side of the river, and helps evacuate the victim to the road. The first aider stays at the head of the stretcher to monitor the victim.
What does the leader do once the casualty is handed over to the ambulance crew?
He decides whether to evacuate the whole team by road or continue the trip. If he had been actively involved, he wouldn't have been able to plan ahead as effectively.
That's a really detailed process. Do they use hand and whistle signals to communicate during the rescue?
Yes, and with smaller teams, there would have to be compromises due to the lack of numbers. But the approach is still valid. Let's talk about signals. We need different signals for rescues compared to when running a river.
Agreed. For hand signals, we have both arms crossed in front of the chest for need medic kit and help, and two hands forming an O above the head for okay. one hand extended above the head for distress or need assistance, and two hands extending above the head then pointing left or right for move, swim, or move boat. And finally, two hands extending above the head, waving arms in a circular motion, then pointing left or right for make that eddy.
And for whistle signals, we should use one blast for stop or attention, two blasts for upstream, three blasts for downstream, and three blasts repeated for emergency.
Perfect. Let's make sure everyone on our team is familiar with these signals and understands their roles and the sequence of events. This will ensure we can handle any incidents effectively.
Absolutely. Thanks for going over this with me, Liz. It's important we're prepared.
Anytime, Sam.